Renewable New Mexico, a program about the people and companies that make our state an epicenter for renewable energy innovation. My name is Sean Wells and I'm your host, and today's topic is Santa Fe, the City Solar. And to help us explore is our first guest today, Nick Schiavo, the energy specialist for the City of Santa Fe. Nick, thank you so much. Did I pronounce that right?
You sure did.
Okay, great. Well, it's not a New Mexican name. Can you tell me how you ended up here in New Mexico?
My folks retired here in '93. I came out to visit and I really fell in love with the state, and I was lucky enough to find a job here.
And with the city?
It was
actually Santa Fe?
I actually started working for Bernalillo County back in '94. Met my wife here, and I didn't know at the time, but she knew that we were going to end up in Santa Fe, and so I've been with the City of Santa Fe for about 6 years.
Oh, wonderful. And how does that translate? When did you find your first interest in renewable energy?
I would have to say that was when I was in high school, 9th grade science class, listening to my science teacher talk about the PV panels, photovoltaic panels that were on satellites. And I thought that was just the coolest thing, that they would generate their own electricity up there.
Yeah, and that stayed with you when you were making career choices?
Most definitely.
Wow, okay. Well, what kind of projects are you working on that really excite you with the City of Santa Fe that have to do with renewable energy?
The city has almost exclusively done photovoltaic projects. So we've got a few large projects out at our wastewater treatment plant and our water division. They're both 1 megawatt facilities. We also have, the most recent project we did nearly 100 kW on the roof of our convention center, and that worked out to be a very nice project. We have photovoltaics at our transit center, and we have plans to put it at one of our newest fire stations that's going to come up in the next few months. We also did a small 100 kW hydro electric project at our Canyon Road water treatment plant, which is also a very fun project.
Well, can I get you to explain 100 kW or the
Sure.
there?
1 kW is 1,000 watt.
Okay.
1,000 watts, and so typically a PV panel these days is 230 to 250 watts, so 1,000 watts would be 4 panels. So 100 kW would be about 400 panels.
Wow, and so when you're talking about a project that's a lot of roof area.
That most definitely, and so out at wastewater we've got 1,100 kW, so about 1.1 megawatts, and so it's about 4,000 some panels that are out in the field.
And it's running what? It's running lights, it's running...
It supplies about 40% of the wastewater division's electric needs.
Wow, that's fantastic.
These are on a single axis tracker, so they'll start facing the east in the morning and just follow the sun to the west each day.
And we talked to one of our other guests about the action trackers. Is it a passive or an active system?
It's active. It starts in the morning in the east and just follows the sun.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what else are you working on?
One of the things I want to point out that I think has been very critical. We've done all of our photovoltaic projects to date, and we haven't used any city funds. We've done them through power purchase agreements.
Okay, and can you explain what that is?
Sure. A power purchase agreement is where the city has contracted with a third party to build, own, operate, and maintain the system over a term, in this case 20 years, and then we get a fixed price of electricity. So in the case of our wastewater treatment plant, we're paying 5.5 cents fixed for the next 20 years. At the Buckman water treatment plant, we're actually paying 0.5 cent a kilowatt hour fixed for the next 20 years. So it's a nice way to set things up. The most recent project that we did at the convention center, we actually loaned out city funds to a third party, and so in this case, not only did we get a great rate per kilowatt hour over the term of the project, but we actually earned more interest than we would have had the city just had the money sitting there in its accounts.
Do you feel like the city, the people of Santa Fe understand what's going on, and what has their reaction been to these kinds of projects?
I think for the most part it's been positive. There's always a few curmudgeons out there who like to complain, but I mean, I think most people get it. I think most people are very pleased that we're not expending a lot of city money, but that we're still able to get renewable energy in our town.
Yeah, that's exciting. And the projects that you do have in place, are they actually making money for the city?
Yeah, I mean, they save, the way I like to look at it is they save money for the city.
That they would otherwise be spending.
Definitely. So when you take a look at, as an example, the system out at wastewater, that 1.1 megawatt, saves the city about $100,000 a year.
Wow.
And because it's a fixed price of electricity over the full term, every time the cost goes up from the utility, we're kind of insulated for at least 40% of our electric needs out there.
Great. What do you see on the horizon? What kind of projects would you like to see come on board, or what do you have on the boards now?
We're going to be doing a project at Fire Station 3. That's insane. Okay. Probably meaningless to you, but it's a new fire station. It's about 2 years old. It's on Sirius Road, and we were fortunate enough to get panels donated, and a local company, Positive Energy, is actually going to hold a class on how to put the system up. So we're going to have the firemen attend the class and actually construct the system out there.
Is that open to the public?
Yeah, we'll offer that. We're going to try to encourage city and state code enforcement people to attend the class. And Randy of Positive Energy is a great guy. He's very knowledgeable, so it should be a good course.
I'm sure you've learned a lot about installation.
Yeah, definitely. I think I learned the most when I put up my own system February of this year. I did 2.4 kW in my own house and actually did hands-on put it up myself, so that worked out well. The other large project we have is the beginning of this year, the voters approved a $1.8 million bond to put up photovoltaics at one of our community centers. And so this is a large energy user. It has an Olympic-sized swimming pool and an ice rink, so this will be a nice project.
We've been talking about New Mexico as a hub of solar energy activity. Why do you think that is?
New Mexico has wonderful renewable energy resources. You have the great sun and great wind energy here.
It must be really satisfying to work for a government entity that is so supportive of alternative energy options. Most
definitely. I've said it many times. I love my job. They rightfully so. They expect a lot from me. We're going to need to put up a lot of renewable energy to keep pace with the town's desires.
So you're finding support.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
If you were talking to children and trying to lead them with something, what would you want them to know about what you're doing and what's ahead for Santa Fe?
Gosh, children. So I would want them to know that I hope that they know that we're sorry for all the damage that we've done, and we're trying to make up for lost time and get up as much renewable energy as possible. I think one of the biggest challenges that we've had some challenges with the local utility and them wanting to allow as much renewable energy as the city has a desire and the people have a desire. So I think it would be nice if the current youth would get behind something that, if they would express their concerns and their feelings about how important it is. And
be more vocal and active.
And ultimately the utility is governed by the Public Regulatory Commission. So I think the commissioners in that board, they need to understand that what the people want. And people want more renewable energy, and people, your earlier question about the resources here in the state, we've got tremendous natural resources, and yet I read that New Jersey is the #2 solar installer in the country, and our resources is twice as good, and that means that a system put up here will generate twice as much electricity as in New Jersey. I think it's great for New Jersey. I think they've kind of got their act together, and I think it really helps that solar community. It helps the installers and the people who are selling the product, and certainly the end users to have more renewable energy. And so I hope that we can have that same kind of energy here, that we could have that same kind of passion from the people to tell the regulators that this is what we want in our state.
I've got a couple of enchanting questions that we are asking our guests. So you'll get 3 options: sunshine, wind, or biomass.
I would say it depends where you are in the state. Certainly in Santa Fe, it's been solar, the sun.
Can't go wrong with solar.
Yeah.
Active or passive?
I'm going to have to go with both on that one. There's a lot of nice work that's being done with some passive solar homes, and you know, the trackers that we have are proving to be very efficient and providing a lot of energy.
And then how long have you been in New Mexico at this point?
I moved here in '94.
So you can answer the question: red or green chili?
Oh, of course, both. Depends where you are in the state.
At the same time?
Again, depends where you are in the state.
Yeah, you choose. And where do you prefer your chili?
But I'm going to have to say Santa Fe, just
Santa
because
Fe
that's where I work.
Okay.
The shed red is always very good.
Okay, I'll try it out. Well, thank you so much for your service to the city, and thank you so much for bringing your energy to the program today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back with our next guest, Karen Paramanandam. Welcome back to Renewable New Mexico. The title of today's program is Santa Fe, the City Solar. I'd like to introduce Karen Paramanandam, who is currently working on a community renewal project in Santa Fe. Karen, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, Paramanandam, we talked about that being East Indian name.
Mm-hmm.
How did you land here in New Mexico?
It's a long story, much longer than you really want to hear, but I've been in Santa Fe for a little over 16 years now. And I came to New Mexico not necessarily to do anything to do with renewable energy, really. I came here to do theater.
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately in New Mexico, you really can't make a living doing that. So I found my way doing many other things, and found a really great niche in sales and marketing, and came into the renewable energy field through sales and marketing, as opposed to how most people come to it, which is, you know, through being an installer or interested in it from an engineering standpoint. You know, I really came to it as a form of necessity, really. I fell into a job, and it's become a passion.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a great story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've had you here today because you're speaking about a specific project that you're working on,
Yes.
the Remike project. I don't know a thing about it, so can you tell me what I need to know?
Yes, so the Remike project is actually it's still in its planning stages, but what we're working on with the City of Santa Fe Economic Development and a group of young people called The Mix, which is a young initiative for young entrepreneurs in Santa Fe to be engaged in the community.
Young, like teens or
no,
college?
Mostly postgraduate, you know,
Okay.
Definitely entrepreneurs and professionals who are trying to find their way in Santa Fe, and we want to keep them engaged in Santa Fe and keep them interested in what's going on. So I've been part of Mix for a while. I'm not one of the founders by any means, but I do participate pretty well in all the different projects. And as part of the company that I'm with in Santa Fe, we were asked to participate in this project because it involves renewable energy as well as community development, neighborhoods, jobs, entrepreneurship, art, performance. It's a multifaceted program that's going to help rejuvenate the St. Michael's corridor in Santa Fe.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah. So our kind of aspect of it is to help set up solar car charging stations for electric vehicles.
Wow.
And we installed one at our office, which was, you know, a commercial project that was done for us. And it really took off. People are really interested in the project. It's bringing a lot of interest to electric vehicles, to you know, PV and EV, which is photovoltaics and electric vehicles, and how they can work together to really help promote not only you know, low emissions vehicles and electric cars, but also to promote photovoltaics and solar energy on homes and businesses.
So is this a response that there is a need to support photovoltaic cars? There isn't a support network in place right now?
Well, you know, the cars themselves are you know, there's commercial cars like, you know, Chevy and Nissan, and, you know, the higher end cars like Tesla have electric vehicles on the market already. That part of the market has already been taken care of. Now, how do we promote people to actually do it? How do they, you know, what's the reasons for actually going out and purchasing the car? And how do you then support those vehicles within a community? So a big argument for a lot of people with electric vehicles is that there's nowhere to charge them, or I have to do a full charge at my house, and then if I want to travel anywhere, you know, I'm going to be stuck because then I have to find some place to plug it in. So what we're offering is a solution that may really take care of that problem. You know, if you think of a world where every 4 city blocks there was an electric charging station that was powered by solar electricity.
So this is the first step in setting up the infrastructure for those solar vehicles.
It's kind of an envisioning project.
Okay.
What could happen? I don't know if you're familiar with the St. Mike's corridor in Santa Fe, but it's, you know, it's kind of industrial looking. There's a lot of, you know, car dealerships and low-end residential neighborhoods. Some, you know, rejuvenation is starting to occur already, but primarily it's one of those neighborhoods. It's in the heart of Santa Fe, but it hasn't been really developed. So this is a way for young people to get involved and young entrepreneurs to get involved in revisioning that entire corridor so that it becomes family friendly. It becomes places where young entrepreneurs can move and start businesses. You know, something like what they've done in downtown Albuquerque, where it started to be, you know, more of a walking neighborhood as opposed to everybody driving their cars and parking and then, you know, just asphalt everywhere, nothing pretty. So that's...
The charging stations are a piece of this whole project.
Exactly.
And how many cars can you support? You've said you've built one at your office location now.
Yeah.
How many cars can that support, and how long does it take? I don't know anything about charging.
So it's a level 2 charging station, which means that it has 2 different ports. One for, you know, your home-built machines that really can't have a full charge. You know, can't have a high voltage charge. So you can actually take a standard extension cord and plug that vehicle in, and that's a level 1. And then the level 2 is for a quick charge, and that would be something like a Nissan or a Chevy Volt would plug into. It's what we would call a convenience charge. You don't want to park there for 8 hours and charge your vehicle, right? It's right next door to Whole Foods, you know.
Okay.
So if you
can dash and get your groceries while your car's getting a little bit of recharge to extend your.
If you were on the outskirts of town and you wanted to drive in and charge your vehicle while you're waiting in our showrooms right across the street from Whole Foods, it's a great, you know, way to get people in the habit. And right now the station is free. The person who actually owns the little charging station is a company called Linograt, who's out of Santa Fe, and then Positive Energy installed the solar, and so it's kind of like a nice synergistic way to help people understand, you know, this is possible. You can put this on your business.
What's the response been?
Immense, actually. We've had, you know, several news outlets that have interviewed us about the project, and you know, the local dealerships are really interested in what we're doing, and we get calls almost every day, or somebody stopping by almost every day to either charge their vehicle or come talk to us either about solar for their homes or their businesses, or just to be able to charge an electric car. So it's kind of creating a little bit of a buzz, and that's what we're hoping this will happen with the Remike project as well. Yeah,
there's a lot of support for that kind of thing in Santa Fe especially. And why do you think New Mexico continues to be such a rich resource for renewable energies?
Yeah, so truly it has to be because of our you know, the number of hours of sunshine we have in a day and the number of days of sunshine we have in a year. But I think it's also because New Mexicans are very unique in that, you know, we do have kind of a connection to the land, and we do feel a stewardship for the resources that we have.
Great word, yeah.
Absolutely. So I think that people, young and old, really, they want to feel like they're doing something that benefits their families, you know, for years to come, generations to come, you know, so the children are involved. And I think eventually it's going to be one of those things where people say, you know, an electric car, I can't believe that you don't have one. Solar, are you kidding me? You don't have it on your house? You know, people are going to be that, it's going to be just that mainstream. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm supposed to ask you, what you would like people to know about solar and renewable energy, an idea. But you had mentioned you're still looking for sponsors for this program, the REMIC program.
Absolutely. In order to
What
make
would that entail?
in order to vision this project and make it actually come to fruition, it's going to take many, many organizations and many, many people involved in it. Not just the City of Santa Fe and Economic Development and Mix and companies like ours. It's going to take, people like NMSCA interested. So yes, if you're interested in sponsoring or finding out more about REMIC, I encourage you
And volunteering,
to
just setting up
give us a
the
call.
stations would be fun.
Absolutely. You can definitely contact us through NMSCA and we can put you in touch with who you need to know.
Great. And you're getting an opportunity to work with young people. What kind of things would you like to instill in the young generation, the next generation?
I would say if you're going to be going to college and you're still unsettled or undecided about what you want to study, engineering. Get into that engineering field and figure out how you can become a renewable energy engineer is what I would say. I wish I had done that. But
Okay,
I'm involved as best as I can.
I've got some enchanting questions to
Sure.
ask you. Okay.
Sure.
So options: sunshine, wind, or biomass?
Definitely sunshine.
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 And are you a sunny person?
I'm definitely a sunny person. Absolutely.
Okay, active or passive?
Active.
And why is that?
I think, you're speaking mostly about solar, active or solar, or passive solar.
Oh, you're
And
extending. I like that. Taking the poetic meaning.
Absolutely.
So we're talking proactive here.
Proactive, yeah. I think that being an activist is really what's going to make a change in the world. Don't take that back seat.
And it sounds like there's a lot of opportunities with just with this
Absolutely.
project, but there's many other projects in
And no
this
matter
field.
what walk of life you come from.
Yeah, great. And then how long have you been in New Mexico at this point?
Almost 16 years. Actually, a
16
little over
years.
16
Okay,
years,
so
yeah.
red or green chili?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Is it?
I would
Yeah.
say Christmas.
Christmas. Yes.
Yeah, Christmas for
Yeah,
sure.
good.
I know that's a deviation from the answers.
No, I like that. Deviation is good. I think I'm a Christmas just because I like variety.
Right, me
Variety
too.
is the spice of life, especially, that's our motto here in New Mexico, right?
Absolutely.
Variety.
Absolutely. But chili for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's a really interesting project, and I hope you'll give us an update.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's our program for today. Thank you for watching, and be sure to join us next week for more Renewable New Mexico. Until next time, this is Sean Wells reminding you, we are all solar powered.